The battle of small businesses versus monopolies or large corporations has been around since the beginning of trading dollars. This seems to be because being passionate about a thing, such as grilling meat so you open a restaurant, is much different than running a business of that thing, aka becoming Outback Steakhouse. As a young, small business owner and entrepreneur, I did my best to learn and understand everything I could about running the business. And that did bring some success. I took home pretty good money, and our clients certainly told us how successful we were. But the long-term reality was that I would grow to a point and then something would happen where I didn't understand an aspect of running that business, and I might lose some staff and have to rebuild all over again. Or we would make a crucial tax mistake and owe more than we had on hand. It also took me a long time to understand these things called sales cycles and how to run a proper promotion. When I got into the corporate world, it was like the blinders were ripped off. I was introduced to a world where people really didn't care necessarily about the product they were selling, but they could still sell millions of dollars of that thing around the globe. Now, if you're a passionate entrepreneur, you hate the thought of this, but you know it's true, and you've probably experienced something like this, maybe in your own market. Like maybe you make the best homemade ice cream, but you look down the street and you see that Cold Stone Creamery is still profiting more than you might be. Or you have a clothing boutique and you source from the best up-and-coming designers, and you look across the mall and you see that Old Navy is crushing it, selling cheap $5 tees that fall apart in a week. In all of these scenarios, the fact is, having a successful business is much more than being passionate about a thing, and some people would argue that you don't even really need that passion. Hi folks, my name is Chris Solomay, and on this channel I help people with personal and career development. If you like that sort of stuff, subscribe. If you don't. So what is necessary? Well, to start with one word, systems. Yes, there's that word that everybody says and not too many people really explain. So, what are systems? Well, let's take a step back for just a second and first look at what it takes to run a business in the first place. Every company that outgrows that initial small business phase and starts to make some money eventually needs to operate differently. Work that used to be done by maybe one person or a small number of people, or systems that were designed casually, at some point need to become more standardized. They call these standard operating procedures in the corporate world, or SOPs. An SOP is just a fancy way of saying we take this thing and we make it repeatable no matter what person is in charge of it. So it gets done the same way every time. So anytime this happens, then this happens. Here's an example. You have two employees. One of them has natural RBF. The other one does not. When a client walks through the door and RBF is at the desk, you can imagine the greeting the client gets. But when the other employee is at the desk, you know, the one who smiles, the client has an entirely different experience. So the problem here is this creates inconsistencies in the experience and takes your business from batting 1,000 to batting 500. Now, creating an SOP that says when a client walks through the door, we smile, we make eye contact with them, is one very small example of a standard operating procedure. Now that we understand what SOPs are, what are the key areas that we need to design and implement these systems? In companies, work is broken up into a few crucial departments, and each department focuses on vastly different activities day to day. Assuming that you already have a product or a service that you sell, the typical departments would be something like operations, finance, sales, marketing, and training, to name a few general ones. Operations might consist of anything that it takes to run that business, such as staying current on business licensing, HR issues, recruiting, hiring, firing, staying up to date on communicating new rules, regulations, or up-and-coming promotions, manufacturing, sourcing, managing the facility, such as repairs and maintenance, or even expansion if you're growing and you need a new facility. Operations handles improvements in all departments, and overall the operations department is focused on operational excellence, ensuring that the company's day-to-day activities are well coordinated, efficient, and aligned with its strategic goals. Now, we've all seen The Office with Steve Carell, so this kind of gives you a picture of operations. These are the people that do the stuff that small business owners think is absolutely boring. But make no mistake, this is necessary work, and it's crucial to you sustaining your business and keeping your sanity in the long term. Next, let's talk about the finance department. This would include things like cash management, something most small business owners pay no attention to, financial reporting, budgeting and cost control, investment and asset management. These are the things that you own, tax planning and compliance, debt management, etc. Again, for a lot of small business owners, this looks like tedious work because they're usually so busy doing the thing, trying to get that next sale or client, that they never really allocate any time to this key area, and it costs them in the long run. In fact, this could be the main reason why so many small businesses fail. Definitely something to think about. Let's talk about the next obvious area, sales. And this is the area that probably gets most of your attention because it feels like the most important. You hear it all the time. Are sales up? Are sales down? You'll hear salespeople say, I make this company so much money. And yes, of course, sales is important, but you might be starting to see that it's just one piece of the pie. So what does sales include? Well, things like sales strategy and planning, lead generation and prospecting, customer relations and management, negotiating and closing deals, creating sales materials. Oftentimes this happens along with marketing. Every company kind of has their own way of doing this. But they might do things like sales market research and, of course, relationship building. And again, I just said it, but sales and marketing in most companies work very closely. The closer this communication can be, the better your promotions will be. So what are the difference between sales and marketing? Well, marketing handles things like market research, brand development, which is very misunderstood, advertising and promotional calendar and development, digital marketing, including website and web sales, social media creation and social media marketing, market analysis, like is this business even in the demographic that it should be for the product that it sells. Marketing handles public relations, event management, and of course, they collaborate with sales. Now, the final general department is the training department. And this is where they handle skill development and onboarding, product and service training, compliance training, and leadership development within your company. They handle sales and customer service trainings. And of course, they assess and evaluate employees and make sure they're up to date on all their business licensing compliance. Now, some corporations spend up to 8% of their total revenue on training to make sure their employees are up to date and making sure that they can continue to innovate. The areas I just described are often shown in an illustration called an org chart or an organizational chart. The org chart shows the organization in a top-down format, and this illustrates which department member does what, like who directly reports to who. In modern language, a lot of times this is called a chain of communication. And it's designed to help the employee know who to go for each individual situation. And it also defines the area of focus for each department and each person in that department. While the org chart I'm showing here might look a little complex, just having a basic understanding of this could make or break a small business. Most small business owners spend so much of their time putting out fires that happen to be right in front of them at the time. And then, of course, they're always in reaction mode. Okay, so I know I'm throwing a lot at you here in this video. I want to know, are you a small business owner? Do you feel like you go and put out a fire and then run to the next one? Is this video helping you so far? If it is, please write the word helpful in comments below. And be sure to check out this video right here on KPIs that will help you meet and exceed your business goals. And for a regular daily dose of inspo, follow me on TikTok and Instagram. TikTok at ChrisSolome13 and Instagram at ChrisSolome. Okay, we're back. What does the org chart tell us? It gives us a snapshot of the places that the business owner has to work on to have a balanced business. People sometimes refer to these as the hats we wear. and most business owners feel like they're wearing all the hats. The best advice I ever heard came from a man named Brian who runs a small business that I used to work at. It does about $12 million a year. And he said, when you first start out, you wear all the hats. But as soon as you grow sales, you start to take off the hats that you're not really great at or you don't love doing. The example he gave was as soon as he could afford it, he hired a great bookkeeper and then a great tax accountant. And he, hated doing that work. As the business grows, you continue to take off hats and you place the right people in those positions so they can help you develop the standard operating procedures that are crucial for each department. And you get to spend your time doing higher value activities and hopefully one day being totally out of the day-to-day operations. So I know this might be a lot. I hope you're taking it all in. But I told you in the beginning of this video that I would share where I would start if I'd never created a system at all. So here it is. The first place that's easiest to start creating SOPs is with new employee onboarding. This helps put your new employee into a good habit straight out of the gate so they know what they need to do, and it gives you some practice in creating an SOP. In many cases, this can be as simple as an opening or closing checklist, or reviewing the roles and responsibilities of that person that they know they need to be doing consistently on a daily basis. Next, I would consider developing a promotional calendar for the next 12 months. Look, I'll make this easy for you. Take out a blank calendar and pick out 6 of the top 8 selling holidays. So this could be anything from Christmas to Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Labor Day, Memorial Day, Halloween, Black Friday in the US, obviously. Then brainstorm and design a promotion for each of those 6 holidays. Now you start to advertise that promotion 1 month prior to that holiday using printed collateral such as menus or postcards, or you promote it on your social media, add it to your website, and create a script for client-facing team members. Doing this activity will help you identify natural sales cycles in your business and keep you focused on sales throughout the year, plus give you practice developing SOPs. Once you've done this, you can now move on to the next thing. And in 12 months' time, you'll realize that now you've developed, promotional calendars, SOPs on opening and closing, new hire onboarding, and you'll start to get into the hang of this. And before you know it, you'll look down the road and you'll have standard operating procedures for all areas of your business. This makes hiring much easier. This makes choosing the next employee to move up. This helps give people long-term career strategies, and it is definitely the place where companies have been outperforming small business forever. Let's take back a little bit of that power. All right, that does it for this video. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching this one, and I definitely hope you learned something. Again, if you did, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and of course, hit that notification bell so you never miss a new video when I post on Fridays and Saturdays. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.